Man, it's been a minute now. 2008 when I was here, 14 years, but wasn't a great season for the team. But I had a blast in St. Louis, so it's good to be back. It's good to engage. I've done a lot in literally the last 24 hours.
Oh, I bet.
But it's good to see the folks out here and the fans.
You know, when the XFL announced that it's coming back, and they announced the coaches but didn't say who was going where, you have a connection here. Mm-hmm. I'm sure everyone knew in the first go-around for the XFL how popular the Battlehawks were and how the crowds just got bigger and bigger and there was such momentum. Were you did you know that you were going to be the Battlehawks guy? And if so, were you thinking, I can't wait? That's the team I want to coach.
Well, I like you're throwing around the name Battlehawks, trying to push that on us for the new season. I'll tell you, I'm excited about what they're going to do for that when it comes around. But yeah, the Battlehawks team in 2020 was phenomenal, and that's the team that excited me most. I mean, they had a couple teams that they were kind of putting me around. Orlando, I live in the Tampa Bay area, so I have some roots in Florida down there. Being from the Northeast in Philadelphia, D.C., went to West Virginia, so there's some roots there. But, quite frankly, I was pretty adamant about being the St. Louis head coach just because of the fan base and the excitement that was at the stadium. I've been really, for me too, as a head coach, I'm probably a little different mold. I'm going to engage with the fans. I'm on social media. I'm not afraid to kind of give my own story. You guys were talking about beat writers. I'll give the story myself and maybe some of the other guys. And I love the media. The media has been great to me over my career. But, for me, I think it's important. I think that's what the fans want. They want something different. I can offer something different to them. And that's a big reason why I want to be there. And again, I'm excited to walk into the Dome and see what it looks like game one.
The thing about the following that the first go around, I don't know if I can say Battlehawks. I'm going to say it again.
No, you
the
can
Battlehawks is right. First of all, St. Louis loves football.
No doubt.
Okay. Then there's also part of it with what happened to the Rams bolting and with Kroenke kind of making a mess on the way out. I think folks wanted to show the country that this is a football town. You have a lot of fans who want to root on professional football, and that's awesome.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, listen, obviously, anytime you lose a franchise, I mean, it hurts. I was here, and I knew the passion of those fans. But you're right. I mean, they did galvanize as a fan base and come to these games. They were open up the top level, I believe, for that game heading into COVID. And, I want that top level open for all our home games. So, hashtag fill the top.
Yeah.
I want the fans in there and, give us a try. I know there's a lot of fans in the area. There's a lot of options. There's other sports. But when the springtime rolls around, give it a try. I think it's going to be a great experience. The best thing about ownership is it's very player-centric and fan-centric. So those are the two keys and priorities of Danny Garcia, The Rock, and Redbird Capital, and for me as well. I mean, that's a big proponent why I was one of the hires of the other head coaches is I have a little background in the media. I have some background in, in that engagement process, and also, I do have a space in coaching. I coach in the AAF, another spring league, which to me, that was the purest form of coaching. Being with Coach Martz, he's becomes a very good friend of mine. He was a big proponent, took me under his wing. I really learned a lot from him. So, just over time and my 12 years of playing experience in the NFL, been around a lot of head coaches, obviously 2 of them when I was in St. Louis here. But you learn some good things and you learn some bad things, and you take it all together. And then, calling college football for 7.5 years with ESPN, I was in every locker room, around the players, that generation of players, the coaching staffs that I went and visit. Those things, kind of led me to, okay, you know what, this is time. My son's in college. My daughter will be a senior in high school. I had some other coaching opportunities I turned down. This becomes a priority for me, and now I'm all in.
So, Coach, whether it's in person or a Zoom meeting, The Rock, is he very involved? What's he like?
You kind of look like him.
He seems like he's
Thank
just
you. I appreciate that. Yeah.
instant energy. The dude's obviously jacked. He's been successful in everything he's ever done. What's it like as he's running the show for this league?
First of all, it's what do you call the guy, right? When I first saw him, is it DJ?
Yeah.
Is it Dwayne? Is it Mr. Johnson? Is it The Rock? I mean, clearly it's not The Rock when you see him, right? It's just, he is awesome. I mean, I've met a lot of famous people in my life. Obviously, it's surreal meeting The Rock, right? It's, but I'll tell you, he's passionate about this. I mean, this is something that's truly important for him. The story always tells us he's number 54, the 54th guy he didn't have that chance to go to the NFL, and that's all he dreamed about. It's all he wanted to do when he went to Miami. He talks about he was there, he's going to be a big time player. Then all of a sudden, Warren Sapp showed up, and they forgot about him. So, he sees that opportunity for all these players. And listen, I've seen a lot of them now. We had 6 showcases across the country, 1,300 players, guys that have played a little bit here, there, arena, all over the place. I mean, most of the colleges I've never even heard of, but there is players out there that are desperate to make it to the top. And of course, we're going to grab a lot of our players from the preseason rosters when they get cut from the NFL team. So that's 600 more players that'll be in our pool. So it's a lot of work to be done, but I love the grind, love looking for talent. It's always been a little bit of something I leaned on too, is just kind of understanding the value of a player, what they can bring to the table. And I'm trying to bring the best players to our team. Most importantly, a quarterback. We have to have a really good quarterback, and of course, we have to have somebody that can protect them as well. So those will be the key ingredients for the team.
How do you describe your coaching style?
Yeah, so for me, I think I kind of have a little bit of a split personality. I'm doing my thing here, and I can speak to you guys. But you know what? Listen, I'm very demanding, but at the same sense, I get it. Like, I understand players. I think the biggest thing is you kind of go out there and you have a style, and it doesn't really fit the guys. Well, the guys to me are important. Everybody's gets fired up differently, gets motivated differently. Guys like to get yelled at. They like those things. Other guys, you got to pull them to the side. I want to understand my players. I want to know what that makes them tick, because ultimately I only have 5 weeks to get them ready for the season, and I got to get a product on the field that's good. I got to get these guys, give them the best opportunity to shine. So, my career playing 12 season, I was a former first-round draft pick, but you know what? Like, it wasn't because of my blazing speed or my vertical jump. It was because the details of the game were important to me, and I'm going to stress that every single day to my players. That's how you extend your career. You know how you play a long time in the professional league. It's not about how fast you can skate or how fast you can throw the baseball. Those things are important to get you there. But if you want to last and have longevity, you have to own into the details of the game of football and the game of the details around what you're doing. And if you don't, you're not going to have a chance to make it to the top. And that's ultimately what these players want to do. They want to get to the league. And people say, well, it's not a development. We don't want a development league. We want a league. Well, you know what? Our best players are going to the league.
Yeah.
That's just how it works, right? So give me a whole new batch of guys, and we'll do it all over again. That's what it's about. That's kind of where the vision of ownership is. So they see this league as just that stomping ground. And we need it. It's needed out there. You just got to do it right. And it's not the football side. It's the business side. That's why Redbird, Danny, and DJ, that they're the best combination, I feel, to make something go off the ground like this.
What type of offense do you envision for this team, or do you kind of have to base it around what talent you're able to come up with? How does that work? Because sometimes you say, no, this is my philosophy, and we'll get a guy to fit that.
Yeah, fantastic. You're right.
It's a great question, right?
That's what he does.
Terrible question.
That's what he does for a living.
Terrible question.
I love you have the manual bell instead of the actual audio.
Well, we're not
bell.
good. We're not good.
We're not that good.
Well, you can toot yourself. That's just nice. Well, I think for me, it's all about the player, right? We have all dreams and aspirations. We want to be this high-flying, explosive offense, and we're going to be as explosive as we can with the guys that we have. So, Bruce Gradkowski, a long-time backup quarterback in the NFL, backed up some, Ben Roethlisberger was a rookie with Tampa when I was there. Just a great mind, and he has some really deep-root connections with Gruden, McVay, and LaFleur in Green Bay. So we're going to have a hodgepodge of their systems. But how do we, when we bring that to the players, how do we simplify that? And I don't mean make it easy for them. I'm just saying we got to make it easy to learn so we can be out on the field and do the great things that we want to do. So they will be predicated on the quarterback and some of the skill position players that we have. But, listen, the game will dictate what we'll do, but I promise you our goal is to score as many points as possible, make the bell ring, and ding my own bell at the game and try to get as many points. Give me a couple bang. There it is. Good.
Do you think specifically the quarterback position benefits from leagues like the XFL? If you look at, if I can say, the Battlehawks, you had Jordan Ta'amu, who then went and he was on the practice squad with the Chiefs, and then the backup, Taylor Heineke, is playing in the playoffs for the Washington Commanders now. So, do you think that position, that some guys, it just takes a while for them to figure it out, and this league is probably the perfect setting for those types?
1,000%. Every player, the quarterback, ding, there you go. The quarterback to me, there's so many guys out there. We've seen so many guys throw the football, and you just don't know. I think being in the situations, I think playing in a place like St. Louis with the fans, the noise, those are the type of things that kind of weed out the players, right? Because you're under pressure and there's moments and there's a lot of things going on. So it is a key development for all the athletes and positions for each guy on the team. But quarterbacks in particular, the league obviously has their showcase guys, but they need backups. They need linemen. I think linemen to me is the number one position where I think the NFL needs more of them. And we can help develop them because, quite frankly, these guys come from college. You see college now, it's a little more fun and gun, wide open, a little side to side. There's nothing really coming off the ball, so the physicality's not there. And a lot of people think, like, you can't teach physicality. You're either, if you're a finesse guy or finesse guy or physical guy. But to me, that doesn't – I had a couple tight ends when I was in the AAF, and both of them they gave me, said, listen, they can't block. They're out. And I said, that's crap. We'll get them going. Just it's technique. You show them how to do things a little better, then they have a little success, and all of a sudden, if they get excited about doing it. So, putting the best staff together to help teach these guys is important. I got a great staff, guy. I can't wait to announce some of my coaching staff. Going to resonate with some of you guys here in St. Louis, which is great. So we're going to have some really good coaches to help these guys get better because that's my job. I got to get. It's not about me helping guys. It's about I got to every piece around me. Whether it's PR, it's operations, my general manager, DPP, all those people are important for us to have success. And, that's my job to get those guys together and give the players the best opportunity to be great.
I know I'm kind of bouncing around here, but I'm curious. You played a long time. Like, who's the biggest superstar you played with, and how was he as a teammate and going places,
Yeah. Well, when I was in New York, my first 5 seasons, Wayne Corbett was like he was like the Derek Jeter of football, right? I mean, everywhere you went with him, everybody knew him. He wasn't the biggest guy, but he was short, so everybody knew Wayne when you walked around. So he always had this low hat, but I loved hanging out with him because everybody knew him. And another guy too, Vinny Testaverde, was pretty big in New York. So when we went around in New York, a lot of people thought we were kind of brothers when I was younger and slimmer and all those kind of things. But let's see that New York, that was the best place to play because ultimately, if you won games in New York, I mean the big city,
Did you live downtown?
No, I didn't. I wish I did. Our football facility was at Hofstra on Long Island, so I stayed on the South Shore on the beach when I was young, and then we moved up to the North Shore a little bit. But I played around some great players. I mean, Kurt Warner in Arizona, they made the Super Bowl run, came in the next year. We made another run, came up a little short. Just a guy that obviously just resonated with a lot of fans. His story is unbelievable. Of course, a folk hero down here in St. Louis as well. So. There's a ton of players, 5 organizations. People call that a journeyman, but quite frankly, those are places that needed me at those times. So it was a great run for me, and I took some time off, got into the media side, chopped it up, talked about beat writers on our things that we did, and had some fun with it.
Nathaniel in there, by the way. Wave to everybody, Nate. There you go.
I knew he was listening. He's like, is this a political show?
know.
Like,
We go over the
media?
I was like Googling, okay, who's the mayor? What's going on?
Sully, I'm not doing this one. So let me ask you this. We feel your enthusiasm. I think the fans have the enthusiasm, but there's still a lot of things that are yet to be made public. You mentioned coaching staff, even name. So is there a timetable for when some of these things, because, the fans have this energy they want to release. It helps them when they know more details. So is there a timetable? Stelly, is that an okay question to ask? Because he could bend me into a pretzel, too.
Trying to get something out of me here. Well, listen, the draft is in November, number 1, so we have to have all these things rolled out. The NFL season's going on, so we're going up against these guys as well. We don't want to compete against the big games and things that are happening. The next couple of months, we're going to have all this information out there. I think, they're trying to be strategic, rolling information out, keeps people on edge. Even if they're pissed off that they haven't heard it yet, they're still talking about it. And I think that's what's good. You know how it works. So I'm excited. I'll be here when we roll those things out, and the fans will be happy about it. I think everybody will get excited about what their plans are for the team and the city and the schedule and everything that comes out. Of course, right now, on my end, those things are great. But we're trying to find the best players, trying to build our board, and give the fans something to cheer for at the games.
Coach, I don't want to give you PTSD, but the 2008 Rams, it was my first year in St. Louis, the Chris Long draft.
Chris Long, yeah, absolutely.
And I know obviously coaching changed there with Linehan into Hazlitt, but just describe from your perspective that season.
It's probably one of the worst seasons of my NFL
Way
career.
to go, Charlie.
I have been in, I was in a winning organization with the Jets and the Bucks coming there, and it was kind of I learned a lot, though. I came to work early, really early, just to listen and hear, and it was a young room. It was a corner of the locker room. It was me, Torrey, Big O, Bolger, some of these older players, and then you had a lot of young guys that just didn't know what they were doing. And Richie Incognito was a young player. He was a young player in the locker room as well. So, you could tell where the guidance was headed. And Richie, he's come a long way and played a long time. But I could tell, like, the leadership from the higher-ups, they weren't getting the respect on that side. And it was kind of just a downward swing. Steven Jackson, I mean, how many years did we waste, I say we, but how did we waste where he just could have had even more year? I feel like he would have been a top 5 all-time rusher. But these guys are my friends, and it was a tough year, but pulled something away from everything. You lose, you win, you get some information on all sides of it. But I loved my time in the city. When I was here in the spring, Mark Bolger was my college roommate. We played together in college, and I would get in a car and drive around all St. Louis and check out the food, go to the Hill, drive up north, south, everywhere, just to kind of find the lay of the land. And the people and the fans were great. I wish we could have more in the stadium, but now we're here now to get more for the XFL, and I'm looking forward to seeing all the fans and seeing the excitement.
You weren't at Harry's when Richie tried to fight me, right?
No, I wasn't. Is that a story?
Well, I was playing here too. Yeah,
I know we're up against the break.
We bumped. No, it's all good. It's pretty funny. He would have kicked my ass anyway, but yeah,
I'm sure it would have been a good fight.
No, he was like 320 at the time. Hell no. I'll have to tell my buddy. Where'd you live here when you played here? By the way,
I lived in it was around the Ladue, Creve Coeur area there. We rented a home, and family came up. My kids were actually going to kindergarten at one, I think, something developmental schools right over there near Frontenac or that area over there. But it's great. I mean, 14 years. I mean, my son just enrolled at Iowa State. He's a quarterback up there, and it's crazy how the journey goes. Nice. So, and he's a little closer, so he can get some of those guys to come down and watch the games. But it's great, man. This is a time for me. Everything I've done in my career, high school, they told me I couldn't play college. Got one scholarship. Went to West Virginia. They told me I would just play special teams. I became a first-round pick. Yep. Went to the NFL. You only play a couple years, played 12 seasons. And then went to the media, started on the basic regional package at ESPN, worked up all the way up in 7 years to ESPN, ABC games in college. And, here we go, new venture. What are we going to do? Dial deep, get back to the roots, grind, remember where you came from, and things will work out for the best. So I'm looking forward to it.
How big was your signing bonus being a first rounder?
Oh man, what was it?
Did you spend it all?
No, the New York taxes sucked. First of all, and that was my first introduction. I think my bonus was like $1.95 million, and my check that I got after tax, and I owed more. I think it was like $989,000. Like,
so they didn't cut it up; they gave it to you.
Yeah, well, they gave it up. Yeah, they took. I mean, I don't know. I when you put the number on your what do they call it? The whatever.
W2.
Yeah, something like that. I think I put the wrong number or something like that. It's supposed to be a higher number. I put the low number, and they took out a crap load of taxes. So, but listen, it was more money than I ever had in my life. So I did save a little of it, which is good. And obviously, all the things that I've done in my career, it's been a great run for me. So it's a new venture for me, and I'm excited about it, guys. And hopefully we can do this again.
Yeah, well, appreciate you coming in. We don't want to keep you too long, man. And I could pick your brain forever. One last thing, though, about the ESPN real quick.
Yeah.
Like, how was that? Like, did anything, was it smooth? I mean, did you get annoyed by anything?
Well, for me, I got right into, calling games, color. So that was great for me. It was really kept me around the game, getting in the locker rooms, talking to the coaches. The coaches opened up to me quite a bit. You play the game a little bit. Those guys really embrace. They understand. You know what you're talking about. But going to the stadiums, that was great. I mean, I loved it. I mean, it was basically the 6 seconds. You got to get something out and get it to the fans, make sure they know what's going on, but yet, don't bring it to a level where they're like, what? So it was a lot of work. I actually treated every game like I was preparing to play the football game, and I did a lot of work on it. I learned how to call games, honestly, quite frankly, from when John Gruden was doing Monday night. I went to his little dungeon office in Tampa, and literally, like, the day after the game, Monday morning, 4 a.m., he's in there. He's watching every bit of every situation on the film. He's going back 4 games. He's studying the players. He's building packages. I built all our videos. Well, I built it and told them what I wanted, and they built the packages. So I was really immersed myself in, number one, calling the game, but letting people know who these players are, what they did. It always, enamored me of just, like, how these guys never really, you don't know anything about them except how they catch and pass and all that stuff. I mean, there's a lot going on. There's doctors, there's guys doing things in the community. People need to know that thing. That's college. NFL's different. We just want to know ball, and I get that. But the college game was a little different. But I love my run there, and it came abruptly to an end with COVID and, cutbacks and things of that nature. And I felt like I was heading in an upward position, but things happened, and it actually was a blessing. Got to coach my kid's high school team for 2 years and be with him every day, man. And
are you hard on him? Were you?
No, early on I was hard on him leading up to the process because you have to instill certain things if he wants to be great. And I remember after his sophomore year, I never was off the top or anything, but COVID hit. After his sophomore season, he started. And he's like, Dad, I want to know how do you do this? How do you become the best of the best? How do you do? And that was like, my eyes were like open. I was like, man, this is great. So we went to work, man, and we were in the garage. We did it old school. And he's got a lot of the old school values that I grew up with, with the parcel, all the different things that got me where I am today. I was able to kind of put in him. So now when he's up there, he gets a good base of where he's at. Now it's up to him. It's his journey. It's his deal, man. So I'm excited about it. I mean, hey, he may not play a game in his career, or he may, play, 75. So we'll see what happens, but
he's going to be a man on campus being quarterback. I'll tell you that right now.
Good-looking kid. I'll tell you. He's got my wife's looks, which are good. And, but he's great, man. My family's been so supportive. They're excited for me in this process, and again, it's just it's a great time for me to be a dad, be a coach, and be a husband.
Got a lot of good things going on, man. Got a lot of good things going on. Appreciate you coming by. We're going to be rooting for you guys. And hopefully in the next couple of weeks we'll know a little bit more.
Yeah,
what's
come
going
out. I
on,
want you guys, man. Be right on the sidelines.
Oh, we'll bring a party.
Take your media passes off for a minute, and then when you come back, it's all about the experience instead of actually what happened in the game.
If you're a fan and you're listening to this guy, I don't know how you can't be pumped for it.
Yeah,
let's go.
Give it a try. Look, they're going to be there. I know they are. People, that's all they have. We need football. We need football. But I know there's a lot of fans out there that are just like, the tickets won't be expensive. You'll get an opportunity to go hang with your family. The games will be fast. And, we're going to try to make it exciting.
We'll get free tickets.
Yeah, of course.
I'll talk to
you. You know a guy.
We'll shake him down a little bit. But the St. Louis fans, they're going crazy. They're excited about this. Appreciate you coming on.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Right on. You guys,
Thanks,
let's go to break. We'll regroup. And we'll be back. Hot Take Central, 59 The Fan, and 59fan.com.